Oakland Cemetery exemplifies the 19th century rural garden movement that was a backlash against the busy, overcrowded city cemeteries. Characteristic of these garden cemeteries are shady trees, flowers, and pathways that were meant to be enjoyed by the living, as well as provide a beautiful final resting place for loved ones. Oakland Cemetery started in the 1850s, with an original 6 acres of land purchased by the city fathers. Oakland was renamed in 1872 due to the large number of oak and magnolia trees growing on its grounds. The cemetery is best known for being the final resting place for over 3,000 Confederate soldiers who were disinterred from nearby battlefields. By the early 1870s, the cemetery had expanded to 48 acres due to the pressures of the Civil War. With the onset of the Civil War, the city added land to bury soldiers who had died in local hospitals. Atlanta's hospitals overflowed with men wounded in battles, and the largest number of wartime hospitals were within half a mile of the cemetery. As deaths mounted, the land around the cemetery was secured as a Confederate burial ground. After the war, several thousand soldiers who had fallen in the Atlanta campaign were moved from battlefield graves to Oakland. The cemetery reached its present size by 1867. Confederate Memorial Grounds. This section is the final resting place for approximately 6,900 Confederate soldiers, including 3,000 unknowns. When you enter from the main gate, the massive spire of the Confederate obelisk provides an orienting landmark. The 65-foot monument was made of Stone Mountain granite and dedicated on April 26, 1874, by the Atlanta Ladies Memorial Association. For many years it was the tallest structure in the city. Also included are the headstones of 16 Union soldiers who died in local hospitals. Another area of marked Confederate graves lies along Oakland's southern wall. The Line of the Confederacy. To the northeast of the obelisk lies the most famous marker, being the massive Line of Atlanta, guarding approximately 3,000 graves of unknown Confederate soldiers disinterred from the battlefield. The Confederate section of Oakland is home to an estimated 6,900 burials, of which about 3,000 are unknown. The line was modeled after the Swiss line of Lucerne and was carved by T. M. Brady in 1894 from the largest block of marble quarried from Stone Mountain. The dying lion rests on the Confederate flag they followed and guards their dust in the words of a commemorative poem. To the northwest, very close to the obelisk itself, are buried 4 Confederate generals: John B. Gordon, Lucius J. Gartrell, Clement A. Evans, and William Wright. 2 historical markers in the cemetery explain this connection with important events during the Civil War. The Great Locomotive Chase. The first site is where 7 spies of the Great Locomotive Chase were hanged near the southeast corner of the cemetery. On April 12, 1862, Union soldiers known as Andrews Raiders, led by civilian scout James J. Andrews, commandeered a train at present-day Kennesaw, Georgia, and raced north to Ringgold, Georgia, to cut telegraph lines to do as much damage as possible while being pursued by other locomotives. They were captured and condemned as spies. 7 were hanged and temporarily interred in Oakland Cemetery before being moved to the National Cemetery at Chattanooga. Andrews was tried in Chattanooga and found guilty. He was executed by hanging on the 7th of June in Atlanta. Andrews was hanged in downtown Atlanta, and there is a plaque marking this historic event at the corner of 3rd and Juniper Street. The second historical marker is north of the Bell Tower, where a 2-story farmhouse stood in the summer of 1864. It was a headquarters for Confederate Commander John B. Hood during the Battle of Atlanta, which was fought to the east of the cemetery on July 22nd. In 1976, Oakland was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Oakland Cemetery provides a look at the rich and vibrant Civil War past of the city of Atlanta and provides guided walking tours, twilight tours, and even boasts a visitor center and museum shop. It is an important part of Atlanta's history and a must-see stop for any serious Civil War aficionado.